Chosen soul, pause with me for a moment. I'm asking you, right now, to set everything else aside. Silence the noise. Step away from whatever is pulling at your attention. Because what is unfolding here is not background sound, not something meant to drift past you while your mind is elsewhere. This message asks for all of you. Your focus, your awareness, your full presence. Because I came to see something about you that truly stunned me. Something so precise, it suddenly made sense of the battles you've endured. Why resistance met you at every turn. Why betrayal appeared from people who had no visible reason to turn against you. Why your path felt steeper, heavier, more demanding than those around you. And yet, in the middle of all that weight, there is something within you that has never agreed to quit. No matter how intense the pressure became, you stayed. You carry something within you. Not an ordinary thing, not a common talent. This is a gift unlike the ones people usually speak about. It is rare in a way that defies easy explanation. Powerful in a way language struggles to capture, singular in its nature. Its worth cannot be measured with ordinary numbers. We are not speaking of thousands, not millions, not even billions. We are speaking of value so vast it reaches into the realm of trillions. And here is the part that stopped me cold while preparing these words. The adversary is aware of it. He has always been aware. Long before your first breath, he recognized what you would carry. And throughout your life, he has been trying to purchase it from you, piece by piece, moment by moment. Stay connected. Pay attention, because what is about to be uncovered, the reason this gift is considered forbidden, the reason its value is beyond calculation, and the subtle ways offers have been placed before you, without your conscious awareness, will permanently reshape how you see temptation, convenience, and those doors that seem to open too easily at just the right time. Remain with me until the end, because you will see clearly what this gift truly is, why it can never be stolen, only bargained for, and how you have been declining these exchanges without even realizing you were ever at the table. If something in your spirit recognizes that you are worth far more than anything the world has tried to hand you so far, mark that recognition. Let your awareness speak. There exists a realm that mirrors this physical one, a spiritual marketplace running alongside the visible world. In this unseen economy, inequalities are assigned value, not randomly, not symbolically, but with exact precision. Worth is determined by rarity, by the scope of influence, by the capacity to transform environments and lives. Most people move through their days completely unaware of this reality. They never pause to consider that they may be carrying inner riches that eclipse any material possession. But spiritual forces are not ignorant of this, especially those aligned with darkness. They see what human eyes overlook. They recognize the weight of a soul. They assess the potential contained within a gift. And when something extraordinarily valuable is detected, systems are activated to obtain it. Those systems were activated for you, not recently, from the very beginning, from the moment you entered this world, because what you hold has been sought after intensely by the darker kingdom, not with the intention of destroying it. That would be too simple. The goal has always been acquisition, to persuade you to hand it over willingly in exchange for something that appears precious on the surface but is hollow at its core. This distinction matters deeply. The opposing force you face operates within boundaries it cannot cross. One of those boundaries is choice, your will. What is yours cannot be taken without your agreement. Your gift cannot be ripped away. It cannot be seized by force. Only one method is available: the offer, the deal, the attempt to convince you that surrendering it is in your favor, while the loss far outweighs the gain. This has not been abstract. It has been personal. It has played out again and again in your life. Each time a shortcut appeared that asked you to bend your integrity, it was an offer. Each opportunity that required you to betray your inner truth was an offer. Every moment when the easier path presented itself precisely when the right path became exhausting, that too was an offer. Negotiations have been taking place quietly, persistently, and without even realizing it, you have declined them year after year, choice after choice. This is why resistance intensified. This is why pressure increased. Because your gift never left your hands. It stayed with you. It continued to grow in value while remaining unattainable to those who sought it. Now it is time to name what you carry. This gift is not something you were taught. It is not a technique you practiced into existence. It is not a skill refined over time. It was woven into you at the moment you were formed. Your forbidden gift is this: the capacity to remain uncorrupted in environments designed to corrupt. This is why its value is immeasurable. In the spiritual realm, purity is the rarest and most powerful currency there is. Not perfection, not flawlessness, not a life without mistakes. This is something far deeper. It is that core within you that, despite wounds, failures, and repeated falls, remains essentially untouched. That place that refuses to rot. That inner compass that after every collapse seeks to rise again. That quiet discomfort you feel in dark spaces because, at a fundamental level, you do not belong there. This is uncommon beyond measure. Most people, when surrounded by darkness long enough, adapt to it. They blend in. They stop feeling the tension. They normalize what should never be acceptable. But you did not. You were exposed to situations that should have hardened you. You walked through environments that should have reshaped you into something unrecognizable. You encountered temptations that should have stripped away your essence. And yet something within you said no. Again and again. This is why the gift is forbidden. Because the system of this world cannot thrive if beings like you remain uncorrupted. Darkness depends on decay becoming normal. And you are living proof that it doesn't have to be. The system needs purity to fade slowly, to be worn down over time. It requires every soul, eventually to soften, to surrender, to sink into a lower rhythm and call it normal. Yet you stand outside that design. You are the irregularity, the unexpected flaw in a structure built on decay, the one who statistically should have collapsed long ago, but somehow remains upright. This alone carries immeasurable worth, because every human who preserves their inner clarity in a polluted world becomes a living signal, a quiet flame that shows others what is still possible. They become proof in motion that surrender is not inevitable. They become hope with breath in its lungs for those who believed corruption was the only outcome. Your presence, simply by continuing to be who you truly are, reshapes atmospheres. It shifts perspectives. It awakens dormant courage in others and reminds them that resistance is still available to them too. This is where the trillions reside. Not in your achievements, not in what you produce, but in your state of being, in what you embody, in the possibility you quietly demonstrate every single day. You refuse to morph into the shape the world keeps trying to press onto you, and that refusal is priceless. Now let me gently uncover the kinds of exchanges that have been presented to you, because once you see the pattern, you will recognize it more clearly when it appears again. One of these exchanges comes disguised as instant relief. It arrives when you are exhausted to the core, when the ache is sharp, when the pressure feels unbearable, when you honestly believe you cannot endure another moment. Right at that breaking point, a door appears. A way out. But that door is not free. It asks for a quiet compromise, a soft betrayal of your essence, an agreement to step away from your truth just a little, just this once. The message sounds comforting. I can make this stop right now. All you have to do is this, and the action required always involves relinquishing a fragment of what makes you whole. Your honesty, your alignment, your inner cleanliness. Recall the moments in your life when desperation met opportunity. Times when a solution showed up that seemed almost miraculous. A chance encounter, an offer that promised to fix everything. A person who appeared with exactly what you needed. And yet beneath the surface something felt off. Your mind couldn't fully explain it, but your inner knowing hesitated. And later, the truth surfaced. The offer was not what it claimed to be. There were costs hidden in the fine print. The price would have been far greater than the relief it promised. Those were not blessings. They were bids. And your refusal, often instinctive, was your gift standing guard over you. Another exchange comes wearing the face of belonging. This one is especially persuasive for souls like yours. because chosen ones often walk with a quiet sense of isolation. Feeling unseen, misunderstood, out of place, that ache cuts deep. Being different can feel heavy. Watching others fit in while you remain on the edges can wear down even the strongest heart. And then suddenly a doorway opens. A group that welcomes you. People who seem to finally understand. A space where you could rest, where you could belong. But there is a condition. To stay, you must adjust. You must edit yourself. You must release certain values, soften certain truths, dim parts of your light so it doesn't disturb the room. This is not community. It is a transaction disguised as acceptance. The entrance fee is your authenticity. And once the payment begins, the demands never stop increasing. Remember the times you were asked to shrink to be included, to hide what makes you luminous so you wouldn't stand out, to mute your truth so others wouldn't feel exposed, to abandon your own direction to follow a safer, more approved path. Those moments were negotiations, and this is the quiet miracle. You walked away, perhaps without fully understanding why, perhaps without realizing what was truly at stake. But something in you could not agree. Something in you chose solitude over self-betrayal. That choice was not weakness. It was your gift at work. There is another exchange that appears, one that targets a different wound. It is the offer of recognition. This one carries particular weight for those who have spent years unseen, dismissed, minimized, or overlooked. After a long history of your worth being questioned, after pouring yourself out and receiving little acknowledgement in return, someone finally notices. Something finally validates you. A voice that praises your brilliance. A platform that highlights your value. An opportunity that says, now you are visible. Now you matter. And right there, the invitation begins. The acknowledgement you were meant to receive, for as long as you can remember, finally appears within reach. Someone sees you. Something validates you. At last, the mirror reflects back the worth you have always carried. Yet hidden within that recognition is a quiet requirement. To receive it, you must channel yourself in a prescribed direction. Your gift must serve intentions that are not truly aligned with your soul. You are invited to shine, but only within boundaries designed by another hand. This is the most delicate exchange of all, because it doesn't look like harm. It looks like justice. It feels like reward. Yet the cost is subtle and profound. Your sovereignty, your freedom to express your gift in the way your spirit instinctively knows is right. What changes everything is understanding why this gift has never been taken from you. It cannot be seized. It cannot be stolen. Free will is a law woven into the fabric of existence itself, a principle set at the dawn of creation. Even forces that oppose the light are bound by it. They resent it, resist it, rage against it, yet they cannot override it. What was placed within you is yours by divine authority. Ownership of it rests entirely in your hands. No force can remove it without your agreement. No power can rip it away against your desire. This is why persuasion is the only weapon available. This is why temptation is repeated in different disguises. The final choice has always belonged to you. And that reality is infuriating to the one who has tried, again and again, to outbid your integrity. For years, moments of vulnerability were targeted. Seasons of exhaustion were exploited. Circumstances were arranged to feel inescapable. People entered your life wearing trust, presenting solutions that seemed like the only way forward. And still you declined, sometimes without words, sometimes without conscious awareness. Yet again and again, something within you chose alignment over ease, truth over comfort, the narrow road over the corrupted shortcut. You stayed loyal to something you couldn't fully define, but deeply knew was sacred. That unseen loyalty was your gift working quietly, shielding you from exchanges that would have echoed with regret forever. The signs have been present all along. You have noticed offers arriving with suspicious timing. In your most fragile moments, answers appeared that felt almost. Doors opened too quickly. Promises sounded too perfect. And even when logic found no fault, an inner hesitation whispered caution. Time revealed what intuition sensed. The shine faded. The hidden cost surfaced. What looked like rescue would have demanded too much of your essence. Your withdrawal in those moments was not fear. It was protection. you have also drawn the attention of the wrong kinds of people. Not those drawn by resonance, but those drawn by appetite. Individuals who seemed curious, admiring, eager to connect, yet slowly revealed motives that were not clean. They wanted proximity, access, benefit. Your presence emits a signal. That signal calls both learners and takers. Some come to be inspired, others come to extract. Discernment became a skill you learned not by choice, but by necessity. Through these encounters, you learned the difference between sincere recognition and subtle manipulation. There have been moments when logic predicted failure, yet intervention arrived. Times when pressure should have pushed you into the wrong decision, when strength was absent and clarity scarce, and yet something intervened. A delay, a disruption, a sudden insight, a shift at precisely the right second. This was not randomness. It was response. What you carry is guarded, not so it remains hidden, but so it reaches maturity before it is fully released. You may have questioned why lack touched areas where others seemed to overflow, why progress felt slower, why doors remained closed longer for you. This was not punishment. It was preservation. Early abundance would have been another bargaining chip, another lure dressed as blessing. Scarcity sharpened your discernment. It kept your hunger pointed toward what was real. It protected you from settling for substitutes that glittered but lacked substance. Painful, yes. Necessary also, yes. Now you feel it, that quiet expectancy rising within you. A sense that your experiences were not random, that each refusal mattered, that nothing was wasted. Something within you knows a shift is underway. Alignment is forming. Threads are coming together. This is not imagination. It is perception beyond thought. Your soul recognizes what your mind is still learning to articulate. And here is the truth of what happens when a gift cannot be purchased. The strategy changes, not into surrender but into restraint. If acquisition fails, limitation becomes the goal. Energy drains appear. Distractions multiply. Survival mode replaces creative flow. The aim is not to corrupt you, but to exhaust you. Yet what was never considered is this. The same strength that made you unsellable also makes you unstoppable. Containment cannot hold what was built to endure. You are stepping into a different chapter now, one where your gift is no longer only something you guard, but something you wield. What once preserved you now empowers you. The clarity you maintained becomes force. The purity you protected becomes influence. And this is known in the unseen realms. That is why the pressure intensified just before the shift. Because what you carry is no longer dormant. It is ready. The intensity you felt lately is not accidental. This is why resistance seemed heavier. Why circumstances pressed harder than ever before. Why the weight felt unfamiliar and relentless. What you experienced was the final attempt to restrain what is about to emerge. A last effort to delay the moment your gift steps fully into the open. But that moment can no longer be postponed. What is moving toward you cannot be sealed, diverted, or stopped. Every refusal you made, every proposal you declined, every exchange you chose not to enter did not disappear into nothingness. All of it gathered momentum. All of it accumulated unseen. What you built through discernment is now ready to translate into form. Here is how this operates beneath the surface. In the unseen order of things, whenever you turn away from a corrupt invitation, something far more precious than material reward is credited to you. Not currency as the world defines it, but authority, depth, reach, the ability to influence reality itself. Each time you said no to distortion, you were simultaneously saying yes to alignment. Every temptation resisted became a deposit. Every compromise avoided strengthened the structure you were building without realizing it. And now that structure stands almost complete. The foundations are solid. The timing is aligning. What you guarded for so long is preparing to be revealed, and its scale will surpass your expectations. A gift does not lose value when it is preserved. It matures. It compounds. It gains force. What you carry today is infinitely more potent than it was at the beginning, because each trial refined it. Each moment of restraint infused it with weight. Each refusal added gravity and command. What will soon manifest is not merely the original essence placed within you. It is that essence multiplied by every year you protected it, every season you endured, every choice you made when no one was watching. Now receive this guidance because it matters. Begin by acknowledging what has truly been happening. You were not merely enduring life. You were safeguarding something sacred. Every day you chose not to surrender was a quiet victory. Every time you held your integrity under pressure was a triumph. Each moment you selected the harder road instead of the easier corruption was an intentional investment, even if you didn't name it that way then. Release the idea that your life has been a sequence of pointless struggles. See it instead as the successful defense of a treasure beyond calculation. Next, allow yourself to prepare for expression. What you protected is ready to move, but expression requires awareness. It asks you to shift from guarding to radiating. Your ability to remain clear in compromised spaces was never meant to stay contained. It exists to light other paths, to show by example that surrender is not inevitable, to awaken courage in those who believe decay is unavoidable. Let your presence speak where words are unnecessary. Be who you are in places that quietly need exactly that frequency. Remain attentive, because there will be one more wave of invitations. When opposition senses that control is slipping away, it presents its most appealing offers. These will be brighter, smoother, more convincing than anything before. They will question your past refusals. They will whisper that maybe it's time to accept what you once declined. Do not yield now, not after everything you preserved. Not when the threshold is this close. These invitations will be the most alluring you've ever seen, and they will also be the final ones. Passing them marks a point of no return. Something has already been noted about you beyond what you can see. When a soul consistently refuses corruption, that pattern is recorded. A distinction is made. In your case, the record reflects a rare designation. It states that you remained intact under conditions designed to dismantle you. This is not about flawlessness or never falling. It is about remaining essentially unbroken, regardless of circumstance. This recognition alters the way higher realms interact with you. It changes the scope of responsibility you're trusted with. It determines the scale of what is placed in your care. Because what is entrusted is given only to those who have proven they will not trade it away when temptation arrives. The message preserved specifically for you speaks clearly. It acknowledges that you accomplished what few do. You maintained your essence in an environment engineered to erode it. You declined invitations many would have accepted without hesitation. You chose discomfort that passes over compromise that lasts. None of this was overlooked. What was once labeled forbidden will become your most powerful instrument. What opposition sought to acquire will become the very force that liberates others from the same traps you avoided. Move forward grounded in this knowing. Your worth cannot be negotiated. What you carry has no equivalent price. No offer, regardless of how refined or attractive it appears, is worth what acceptance would cost. You are the steward of a treasure without measure, and if these words stir recognition within you, if something deep confirms that you have been protecting what cannot be replaced, and if you affirm your resolve to never exchange it, mark that intention clearly, let it be known, and continue walking forward, aware that everything unfolding now is connected to what you safeguarded long before you understood its value.